So my original plan was that yesterday I would go out and do some filming for a video that I could edit together today, but yeah, that didn't happen. I mean, I don't mind the rain, but my camera most certainly does. Ah, well, no problem. I can take this opportunity to talk to you about something that has come up in the comments recently. Some of you have noticed that in some of my videos, there are car number plates clearly visible. And yes, I call them number plates. I'm British. Surely, you said, they need to be censored. That's the law, and if I don't do that, I could be fined. Okay, well now this is actually a very complicated subject, and before I go any further, there is one thing that I need to make absolutely clear. I am not a lawyer. I cannot give legal advice, and what I say in this video is based on my understanding of a whole lot of articles and court rulings. If you need legal advice, you will have to ask a legal expert, and that is not me. With that out of the way, yes, there are times when number plates need to be censored, but it's not all of the time. Now, the ADAC, a German automobile association, does recommend that number plates always be censored for legal reasons, but the courts have in the past disagreed. In particular, there is a court ruling from 2007 on exactly this issue. A vehicle registration number said the court is not sensitive data. In Germany, it is not easily possible to use it to identify the owner, and in any case, the number is very clearly visible to everybody whenever the car is on a public road, and in fact, legally, it has to be. Therefore, it's not sensitive data and it doesn't normally need to be censored. There are exceptions to this because registration numbers are unique to specific vehicles. So, for example, if I'm singling out a vehicle and accusing the driver of breaking the law, then I do need to hide that person's identity and should definitely censor the number plate. This is because the German courts do not like vigilante justice. But random cars just driving down the road where I happen to be filming? Not a problem. There is a little uncertainty regarding the new General Data Protection Regulation, which came into force a few years ago, and at the time, lawyers made a huge fuss about how it would make street photography basically illegal. Almost immediately, the German courts established that, in fact, the GDPR changes very little in that regard. There is a case of a popular YouTuber who was recently fined, according to him, for uploading videos showing car number plates. This is Sascha LKW Vernünftig, a truck driver who uploads dashcam footage filmed while on the job. But his is a completely different case. In the video explaining what happened, Sascha shows the entire text of the court ruling, which is extremely helpful for me. It seems that the problem is not so much the number plates per se, but how they were filmed and in what context. Dashcams are not illegal in Germany, but they count as surveillance cameras, and there are very strict rules about surveillance cameras. In particular, dashcams are not easily visible, and so other road users have no way of knowing that they are being filmed. I don't use a surveillance camera. This is my camera. I'm usually standing in a public space with that thing in full view of everybody. What the court objected to was Sascha's uploading of video footage taken from a surveillance camera without the knowledge or the consent of the people that he filmed, and which included information such as car number plates, but also timestamps and exact coordinates. In addition, a lot of his content is about the documentation of violations of traffic regulations and dangerous driving. Now, I am 100% certain that Sascha's intention was not vigilantism, but public information, a warning about the consequences of reckless driving. Nevertheless, some years ago there was a very famous case of somebody who was playing vigilante with a dashcam in a very similar manner, and the court ruled that illegal. Now, just to make this clear, I am not accusing Sasha of anything. He was fined the minimum amount in part because the court was convinced that he wasn't aware that he was doing anything wrong. However, his videos were exactly what is explicitly not allowed. Showing the number plates uncensored wasn't, it seems, the main problem, but it did tip the balance. He was using a surveillance camera and he was accusing other people of breaking the law. And so he needed to take extra steps to conceal these people's identities more than is normally necessary to avoid trial by media. None of this applies to me. I am not using a surveillance camera, I'm not filming covertly, I don't include timestamps or coordinates or any other identifying information, and I am not accusing anybody of anything. There are some occasions when I do censor number plates, but usually, no, I don't have to. Incidentally, once this pandemic is over, I hope that I can start traveling again and making more travelogues, and I have some great ideas for some fantastic videos in the future. You want spoilers? Okay, well, there is a village in Bavaria. It's quite difficult to get to, but the fascinating thing about it is that there is